Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Get Inspired and Live in Your Power. And we have another amazing guest today, Emanuel Castellano. And I'm super excited to be able to interview him and to share his genius with you. And it's been really cool getting to know Emanuel, or Manny. I might refer to him as Manny occasionally through this episode. I've got to know him just a little tiny bit, but it's been really amazing to kind of unpack the treasure box that is Emanuel Castellano. He's got some amazing background. I'm going to be giving you just a little bit of a bio in just a second, but I wanted to welcome you, Manny. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me. First of all, I'm really appreciate your time and your audience, really. And you're amazing yourself. Thank you for the compliments, but you are really divine in what you do. And I really thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I received that. Thank you.
Yes.
So just to give you a little bit of background on Manny, he has some amazing credentials behind his name. This is something that I'm just starting, like I said, to understand and realize. First of all, he does specialize in helping coaches scale their businesses beyond limits, experiencing significant financial growth. And if you're striving to produce 50K, 100K per month plus, then he says, stop burning money and time getting nowhere and produce financial freedom from your coaching. So he mostly works with coaches. Is that right, Manny?
Yes, that is my, as you say, my heart right now. And
Mhm.
that's what I love to help impact because I find more fulfillment if it's like a ripple effect, right? So the more they help and impact, I feel grateful for even having a small hand in it, and they could really reach out in multitudes and rapid file what they believe in.
You're right. I hadn't really put that into words, but I think that's one of the reasons why I love working with coaches as well, is because you're not just working with one person. You're working with somebody who is actually going to go out and share with other people. So hadn't
Yes.
really thought about that in those terms, but that's probably one of the reasons why I love working with them too. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Manny really does help to turn coaching businesses on autopilot. And I know I'm a mentor and a coach, and I know how important that is to get things kind of in a systematic automation so that you can really focus on the things that you're a genius at. So super grateful for that. And let me just give you a little bit of, like I mentioned, credentials and certifications that Emanuel has stacked up. Funnel strategy expert certification. He is an advanced marketing strategist. He is a professional mobile app specialist, helping his clients even develop their own community platform. He's recognized Business Coach of the Year at the World Summit Speaker. Did I say that right? Do you want to?
Yes. So in 2020, we had a big theme when COVID hit, and they recognized because I was in the entrepreneur top 10 up and coming magazine. So they pulled me, extract me from that platform to speak in the World Summit because the theme was fear and success. So I had to great privilege speaking on overcoming your fears in this pandemic at the time, if you will.
Yeah, wow, that's super powerful because that was such a pivotal time, right? When there
Yeah.
was a lot of fear and a lot of people just kind of withdrew from that, just like they withdrew from the world and separated themselves from the rest of the world. But for me, I felt like, oh my gosh, this is like the perfect opportunity. And
Right.
and for you to be able to step into that pivotal point and allow people to really see that this is not a time of fear, this is a time of success. I love that. You've been coaching for 15 years, it looks like. Okay. And some of the other awards, titles, there's some really big names here. You have your graduate of certification with Grant Cardone. You're a recognized business coach of the year in 2020 Business World Summit. Is that what you were just talking about? That was what you were just talking about, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And that top 10 up and coming entrepreneurs magazine. So really super amazing credentials there. And also I was really grateful. And I think one of the reasons why we were drawn together is because you also have a spiritual side to you. You're a licensed minister and you love doing missionary work, and you've created multiple men's ministries in the US, and also hold multiple patents for your inventions that you've created over the years. And something that's really near and dear to my heart, you cured yourself from heart disease, the heart murmur and heart valve disease that you were born with. And I barely mentioned to you, I had a similar experience 10 years ago, having a heart attack. Most of my listeners know this. Half of my heart just quit working. And of course, miracle was from God, and I totally give him all the credit. But
Yes.
I do give myself credit for being a partner with him in accomplishing that. So congratulations on that huge accomplishment. And yeah, I feel like we have a connection there. So thank you.
Yeah, like you said, like I give all the glory and thanks to God. Like without him, nothing is possible, right?
That's right. That's right. Nothing's impossible to him. Well, great. So as you can tell, listeners, you can see that Emanuel Castellano is a guy that you definitely want to listen to. You definitely want to learn from him. And we're just going to dive in and find out a little bit, kind of dig deeper and find out where you came from, kind of where all of this amazing credentials and awards and, working with clients for 15 years, helping them to scale their businesses. Getting to this point, there were definitely some steps along the way, right?
Many steps.
Do you want to share with us I know you mentioned that you used to work for ClickFunnels as a beta tester. I found that really interesting to kind of be on the inside of that. Tell us a little bit about that experience and how that, eventually led to where you are today.
Okay, so I'll start with, at the time, I had double knee surgery, so I could not do anything but stay at home. And this is when I incurred a lot of my talents of building businesses and funnels. And so when they invited me in their world, if you will, I was deemed the fastest funnel hub and funnel builder. So that's why they took me in. And my first client ever that I coached and I built their funnels for actually won their first 2 Comma Club award, which was really highlighted in one of my pages, and which was a big deal back then. Still is, anyone that could help you make 7 figures a year. And yeah, I just really dove in deep in how to really scale your business with automations. And I'll backtrack a little bit. This all started out with my own inventions because I figured out a way to create a system and framework how to scale and sell my own invention using my own strategies and funnels. And I did it via funnels. And I still have that today in another world, if you will. Another business is helping them out launching their products or services.
Awesome. So it sounds to me like you really tapped into your divine genius. And I don't even know for sure if you really realized that at the time, but it sounds like other people recognize that. And, you had done it on your own and then jumping into work with ClickFunnels. So it sounds like you knew that there was a skill there that you had, and they recognized it immediately with that first, you probably just like, well, I'm just being me.
Right.
You didn't realize how much more amazing you were than everybody else. Because I know with me and with my clients, we tap into that divine potential. And they're like, well, why is that special? Can't everybody do that? No, everybody can't do that.
Yeah.
It's your special thing.
I find that, first of all, your failures, which are many, to success, it helps like forge you, right? And not only that, I always say your identity is lied in like the formula that I created, or God did, which is your spiritual gifts and your worldly talents. If you put those two together, that is your divine purpose and your calling, and why God designed you, and how you can make the most impact in life and to serve others, right? So you find that maximum fulfillment to make the greatest impact when you're walking in your true identity and your true calling. And that's what I found was, hey, I was just doing me, like you said, but others asked me, can you help me out? Because I was in these masterminds with 2 Comma Club X and these, masterminds, high level masterminds with other millionaires, and people just came up to me and say, "Hey, I need your help. Can you help me?" I said, "Maybe." And that's how I really perfected these systems. So I have my CAM system and my internal business systems, which is the automations that scale these businesses, because my gift as a engineer, if you will, mentally and inventing stuff, I just create these and engineers these systems so I could really help elevate anyone, especially coaches.
Beautiful. I'm so on board with everything that you're saying. You're just like speaking my language, because I know my life creation blueprint does very similar to that, helping people uncover, and unlock their divine potential, and then applying that to a business system. That's exactly what I do too. And so you're
which is which is, if I may, is it's really excellent and is really unique, because I've been doing similar stuff, but what you do is like next level, and anyone that doesn't have it should have it.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing that's wonderful is you're on my podcast, right? We do something very similar, but it's not exactly the same. You have your divine genius. I have my divine genius. I have my download from God of what this business structure looks like. You have your download from God, what this business structure looks like. And there are plenty of people out there that, there's so many people out there that some will resonate with you, some will resonate with me. And so
Yeah.
that's the beauty of this. And I know, since you work with coaches and I work with coaches, I'm going to speak directly to coaches right now, that I think this episode is really designed specifically for that audience, that don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of people who are, quote, your competitors. Speak your language loud and proud, speak your message loud and proud, because I've never run across anybody other than you, Manny, that has ever had any kind of system that is similar, even similar to what I offer. And it just, for us to be able to be on a podcast together and helping to support each other's businesses, to me, this is just what it's all about. I mean, we are all one,
Right.
we're all God's creations, right?
Yeah, so to touch on a little of what you said, to emphasize even more. So those who's hearing this right now, even though they're not so-called coaches making 20, 30K a month, if you are an expert in something in life, if you know more than someone that's brand new for a year, you could be a coach, right? So that's one thing out the way. And you're an expert in what you do and what you love. So you have that passion, you're a coach. And then the other fold is true, like this competition is a myth, because everyone is unique and is different. There's no such thing as competition, because people, now we talk about scarcity mindset. And that's false ideology that we grew up with and was fed a lie, because there's no such thing as limitation when it comes to money. There's so much abundance and so much out there that it's better to partner up with anybody. You will make money faster, right, than by yourself, which, it doesn't make sense. There's no such thing as limitation. Or, some people say, I don't want to make too much money because I don't want it all. I don't want to be greedy, but that's false. That's scarcity mindset, because it's so much. God created, like, money does grow in trees. People don't realize that. There's so much out there that as long as we give back to make an impact with our gift and what we love to do, then I call money the byproduct. It's gonna come.
I love that. I jotted down a couple notes here. I just want to really highlight some of the things that you mentioned. And I 100% agree with everything that you said, that this scarcity mindset that we buy into is that there is only so much money, right? That there's a limit to how much money there is. And if I get $1 million, then that means that somebody else can't have that $1 million. But that's not true, because like you said, the money is the byproduct of the value that you're providing. And I think about this analogy that I have taught, forever, like probably 10 years, that the value of a $20 bill is infinite, because I might take my $20 bill and go buy some groceries, and then that grocery store owner takes that $20 bill and goes and gets their hair done with it. And then that hairdresser takes that $20 and goes and buys products for their hair salon. And then that beauty supply place takes it and buys something else with it. It's the same $20 bill. So whoever is producing value gets to touch that $20. So there's never a limit to how much money there is. If you're providing value, then there's going to be money for it. Love what you're saying about the, just anchoring in that idea of no competition. There is no such thing as competition, because we are all singularly unique in the way that we approach life and the way that we approach our business. And I love what you mentioned about that everybody's a mentor. If you have people that are looking to you, a parent is a mentor, a church leader is a mentor, a kid on the playground is a mentor. So if you have a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more expertise, a little more failures under your belt, then you can be a mentor.
Exactly.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit more about kind of where that transition took place. So you were working for ClickFunnels. You first of all kind of worked out the system yourself. You went into ClickFunnels and found out that you have, this amazing gift for being able to kind of engineer and see how things work together, creating these systems to the tune that your very first client that you worked with received an award for that. How long were you working for ClickFunnels then?
It wasn't long, because I found my own identity. And after the first client, like I said, I was like saturated with clients, and then I was too busy doing stuff like this and letting my voice be known of there's a faster way to produce more income with less time and effort. So that's basically in a nutshell of my systems, because I'm really like anal and try to have things as fast as possible. That's why I engineer things that way. And that's why after that first client, I realized I could really help people make a bigger impact. And that's the transition went from there to coaching. So now I just did coaching so I could help more people. And it helped a little bit, but now I realized there was an issue here, because my impatience, my clients were getting results 90 days or so, but that was a few. And, a lot of people is not technical like me, is not so techy and doesn't know all these integrations and softwares. It takes time to do all these things. And then it takes more money to delegate every software and people to do it for you. And so that's how I stumbled upon my morning routine, right? I realized there's a genius mode every time you wake up. Everybody does their own thing, meditation. I do my prayers, my Bible study, and then 1 hour at least, I just pen and paper write your next 7-figure idea, right? Just every morning you do that, and you'll be surprised that you go to the next level every day. And one morning I stumbled upon a question that said, how can you see, when you want to serve your clients deeper and more, you get even better results for them. And that's why I said, how can I do better? How can I get them faster results? And this is when I created my Done For You business. I said, what if I do everything for them? I build their websites, their funnels, their mobile apps, all their marketing campaigns, do the marketing for them, and all they got to do is coach. And it was successful because it's a no-brainer, right? Not only the offer is awesome, but it's like, do what you love to do. Coach, make an impact, and spend more time with your family, which is another heartache for us entrepreneurs, and that worked out great. And that was this transition. It took me a while, but I think that, and then at the end, it's the coaching, right? Because not only I give you the vehicle, amazing vehicle, if you will, but I teach you how to drive the vehicle, which is really important. Coaching is great, So I'll do the done for you and then do the coaching so you could scale to that 7 figures, which I think is really important.
Awesome. And what I'm hearing is I'm just like, nodding my head the whole time as you're talking, because, that's one of the very first things I teach my clients is that morning routine, because you're right.
Oh,
That
wow.
is the place. In fact, I talk to him, I don't do anything before you do it, because your brain is still kind of open from being asleep. It's still
Yes.
open, for that inspiration. So yeah, I mean, we are just totally on the same page. But I love that idea of asking in that morning meditation. I call mine daily GPS, gratitude, prayer, and scripture. So you talked
Okay.
about doing your prayer and scripture as well. Asking that question, what is my next 7-figure idea? What's my next 7-figure idea? And just free writing about it. I love that. That's amazing.
Because when you reach 7 figures or 8 figures, you will behave differently. Your
Yes.
habits, your attitude towards life. And then you ask yourself, what will my 7 figure version of me be doing right now that I'm not doing in this identity? So you have to learn how to become who you want to become to be in that mindset and mind frame, and which helps a lot.
Beautiful. Love that. And another thing that I'm hearing is that your drive to build that 7-figure idea of the Done For You program did not come from, let's see how much more money I can make, because that the money is the outcome, right? It's the
The
byproduct.
byproduct, yes.
Yes, but it really came from that knowing inside of you that the reason why you got into the coaching field was not necessarily because, like, I know this is like more lucrative or whatever. It was because you saw that this is a way to touch more people, that you can reach these coaches and then they can go out and touch people. And so you really did bring your career, that it wasn't just a career, it was really a divine purpose, a calling to make significant impact on lives.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned to me earlier when we were just discussing, you said that you were kind of at a crossroads, feeling unfulfilled and unsure of your path when you made that conscious choice to merge your spiritual gifts and your worldly skills. And that was right at that point where you're deciding to step into entrepreneurship and into coaching. Is that right?
Right. Because me at my highest level is to serve. That's one of my spiritual gifts, and wisdom, knowledge is one as others, and teaching. So, I have a way to really dissect and reverse engineer something so others could get the fastest path. And that's a part of my whole structure is like, let me do it for you and then teach you why and the purpose it has to be this way. And so that's why you find your gifts, and there's tests you could take out there that you could find what your spiritual gifts are. And then, also knowing like behavior studies like the DISC test, right? That helps a little bit.
I'm just
Of
going to raise my hand and say, I have a system for that.
yes,
It's
yes. So
unlocking your divine potential. Yeah, go ahead.
the more you know about yourself and your history, like your family too, the more you could be effective and intentional in what you do, because you know exactly how to maneuver your life better, especially in the spiritual aspect is so important, because everything I believe is manifested from the unseen world to the seen world.
Mm, beautiful. That's so true. People understand the idea of manifesting, right? Of the law of attraction or whatever, but you don't really like stop and think. When you stop and think about it, you really that's what you're doing, is you're manifesting from the spiritual world into the physical world. You're bringing things from the spiritual world into the physical world. And so, there really is no other way but to tap into that spiritual world to be able to connect the two.
Yeah, I agree. And in so many ways, it's like if you're not aligned, we talk about a car again, right? So if not alignment, you're gonna go everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to, like it says in the Bible, to not be double-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really, people misinterpret that scripture. It doesn't mean to do various things. It means to make a decision and stick to it, and that's it. So if you really are a coach and you have this passion and love and drive, it's just a vehicle how to get to your ultimate goal. That's it. Whatever vehicle you choose to get there, that's, you just keep trying. But that doesn't mean that's not what you're supposed to do. Because if you know exactly what your divine calling is, then you gotta just keep striving until you get it right. Because you hear about people overnight success stories, but they probably try 5, 10, 20 years to get there. It's always going to be pain. There's always trials, tribulations. There's always a storm before the sun comes out. And that's a fact.
You mentioned about the different vehicles. And I know for me personally, I've been coaching full time for 10 years. And I've tried a lot of different things. I've been an addiction coach. I've been a business coach. I've been a breakthrough coach, lots of different things. But the vehicle hasn't mattered. It's still me. It's still me pouring my divine genius into it, and my passion, my purpose, and wanting, with the ultimate desire of creating that legacy. And I know that's what you're doing as well. You're wanting to create a legacy. You're wanting to create something that you want to leave this world a better place than when you came. And so whatever the vehicle is, that it doesn't matter, it's not like you failed at one and now you got to move to another. You're just using different, it's just your next 6 or 7 figure idea, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Manny, before we go any further, I definitely want to help people know how to get in touch with you, because I know there's probably some people out there that you're really resonating with and they would love to have that done for you program. I've got here, there's a website, iscalecoaches.com, and email address here, Emanuel@mantechdesigns.com. It's MANTECH designs.com, and maybe set up an appointment. And so some very personal ways to get in touch with you. And then also we've got your social media handles here as well, so that people can get in touch. And just check the description. We're going to put all of that information there. And Manny, I see that you have a very generous offer. This is a mini ebook that is called the Free Step-by-Step Guide for Unlimited Leads for Coaches, which I think is amazing. I'm going to get on and request that ebook. That's something that I would love to have. And that is at iscalecoaches.com/leads. And so you can reach out to Manny in those very personal ways, or you can or you can request his ebook and just get more information on how to scale your business.
Yeah, that's just I decided, instead of it's an ebook, but it's actually like a mini workshop, because I give you things to do and implement right away. And I even give scripts for emails, how to email people. So you could just do that as soon as you read it. And I want people to get results. And yes, it's all free.
That's amazing. And that totally is in alignment with who you are, right? Getting the results quick, just, getting right in there and having that outcome of some money very, very, very soon. All right. Well, before we end today, I do have one last question that I would like to ask you, Manny, and I'll give you just a second to think about it. What if you were to give some advice to somebody who is in a situation right now where they have really been focusing on their business? They've been putting everything that they know into the business, and maybe they haven't really involved or included that spiritual side as much. What advice could you give them to help them draw upon their spiritual gifts and their worldly skills to create more of a legacy and something that is more along the lines of a life purpose?
I believe in wisdom and shortcuts and everything, and not cutting corners, but I have coaches for everything. I have a spiritual coach. I have we have marriage spiritual coaches, right? And then business coaches for different areas. There's shortcuts. Some people think you could do it yourself, but it's false, because it will take you so much time and effort and energy that's why you feel burnt out. Use experts to cut and shortcut your success path. That's why you leverage coaches like us or systems to get where you want to go faster and not be burnt out. I'd rather know it's wise to learn from others. That's what the Bible says. So learn from other individuals who's been there, who's done that. And the money is just, like I said, it's just an object, it's just a byproduct. But when you exchange that value, you're doing a disservice for your own audience, because they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you right now to hear your coaching program, to make an impact. And I guarantee when you get that audience, they're gonna be like, "Where have you been at?" Because I needed you like years ago, right? So remember that you're serving other people, and the faster you get to that one to many or all those audiences, the bigger of impact you will have and feel more fulfilled and have more gratitude, because that's what you're designed to do. So don't delay being designed of what you're doing now, and just go get it, and be proactive, never give up, take courage, and find those success path like systems and coaches.
Beautiful. I 100% agree with that. I would not be where I am today if I hadn't invested in coaches, because there's something about when you are just kind of in your own head and in your own body and in your own systems and, environment and whatever you're doing, that to be able to lift yourself up out of that space and put yourself into, like you said, being a 7-figure person, it takes a very special person to be able to do that themselves. Right. I would say that 90% of people, you're never going to be able to do that if you don't have someone from the outside, and someone from that 7-figure place or 6-figure place, or place of living their life's purpose, or place of being a really great mom, or whatever it is that you're searching for, somebody who's been there and done that, and actually is now living in their power in that space. That is the absolute easiest path. So thank you. I 100% agree with that. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we are at the end of our interview. Thank you again so much, Manny, for joining us today. And thank you to our listeners for joining us. And I'm just super excited for what you get to accomplish just from listening to this, the inspiration that you receive from being on this episode today. And I just encourage you to continue getting inspired and living in your power. And we will see you next time.